Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78. It is summertime, country music, summertime kind of goes hand in hand. And seeing a great show at a great venue like City Winery is about perfect for your summer bucket list. Sunny Sweeney, she has her own show on SiriusXM. She has millions of views on YouTube. She's playing City Winery here in Chicago, July 9th and 10th. I welcome her now to the show. Sunny, how are you?
I'm great. I'm reporting to you from a parking lot in upstate New York.
Oh, well, fancy that. What part of upstate New York are
Yeah.
you in?
We are in Montgomery, New York right now.
Okay. Can't say that I've been there before. If it's anywhere near like Cooperstown or Syracuse, maybe Buffalo.
I don't think it's that far. I think it
Okay,
may not even be technically upstate, but it's north of the city. So
gotcha. But you're from, you were born in Houston, from East Texas, but now you call the hills of Tennessee home. Is that right?
I do. We moved up to Hendersonville, north of Nashville, probably, I mean, gosh, it's been a couple years now. And
Yeah.
I lived in Austin my whole life,
Oh,
pretty my whole adult life, but I grew up in Longview, Texas, school age, and then moved for college and kind of never left Austin. I loved it.
yeah. I mean, Austin, that's like the one city in the States that I haven't been to yet that is on the bucket list. I've been to a lot, but yeah, Austin is just, yeah, I don't know what happens. I heard it's keep Austin weird is the thing, right?
It is, and that's probably why I lived there for so long because I did my part.
Well, so you graduated from Austin. Like, do you still feel as weird as you did before?
I mean, it's weird when I go back there. Like I still have, all my people there. Like all my, my hair girl is there. My favorite nail girl is. I know that sounds like so silly, but like
Not
once
at
you
all.
start, once you find like your people, the guy that worked on my trailer for so long in my van for so long, and then now I've had to like replace all of them in Nashville, and they're just as great. And it's just been a process, like finding all the new people to replace the old people, that you used for so long.
Yeah, but I imagine though the folks in Austin, when you just think of them and you think of you just it's home, right? Even though you live somewhere else, you can't ever change where like you grew up, or where you come from. Like
Right.
it's just a cloth you can't cut.
One of the things that we do always talk about is that we miss like the certain restaurants that you just kind of consider, like you said, just like your home. They're just, it's like comfort, and so every time we do go to Austin, we always stop at this one Mexican restaurant that we like cannot live without. It's the saddest thing that we can't find queso that reminds us of that place.
What's the name of the Mexican
But
joint?
it's called La Posada. It's so freaking good. It's really great. If you ever do get there, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, well, have you ever heard of Family Business Brewing?
Mm-mm. Where's that?
Uh, it's in Austin. It's do you know who Jensen Ackles is? The actor who is in like a TV
Yeah.
show called That's his brewing company. That's where he started because the family business is kind of a play on words from the TV show that he was in, Supernatural. Came out the year before your first album in 2005. It came out, but Family Business Brewing, I believe, I mean, it was there like last year. Was a
Oh,
brewery
wow.
right
Okay. I'll
there.
check that out.
Yeah, sorry. That's one of my favorite shows of all time, so I'm a nerd too.
I know.
Um, but we don't talk about that so much. I wanted to talk to you about your you have a new album that you just came out, Rhinestone Requiem, right?
Uh-huh. It's coming
Yeah.
out August 1st. So like not that I'm counting, but I think it's like 29 days.
Yeah, not that you were counting, but I imagine you're a little excited then.
I'm super excited. And it's been a labor of love because we've spent quite a while. Like, you know, a lot of people just think, oh, you put out an album, it just happens like in a week or two, but it's a very long process, and we recorded it almost a year ago. And so then
Wow.
from recording to mixing, mastering, getting, all the metadata stuff, running, I basically have my own record label and I have a distribution deal through 30 Tigers. So like I'm still in charge of doing like a lot of the stuff, which, I love being hands-on, so it's great. My partner and I, who is also my guitar player, we produced it. Harley Husbands is his name. We produced the record. We recorded it at Tommy Dedamore studio, who's an incredible steel player down in Texas.
Yeah.
And I've worked with him for 20 years. He actually produced my first album, Heartbreakers Hall of Fame in 2005. And so
Full
we've
circle,
worked
huh?
with Tommy. Yeah, it was cool. We've worked with Tommy a really long time. And I used the exact same drummer for the first record and this record. So that was really fun. Tom Lewis is his name.
Yep.
And then we used this amazing bass player named Brad Fordham and Henry Herbert, who is world renowned piano player. He has like a couple of really crazy viral videos that you should look him up. It's Henry with an I. He's really great. But yeah, we're really excited about it. It's just us, us 5 or 6, whatever that is, people. We just did the whole process.
And you'll be here in Chicago on July 9th and 10th at the City Winery. Have you had a chance to be there before and play?
So we've played a lot of city wineries before with our band. This is a gig. We're on a tour with an Australian artist named Casey Chambers, who is one of my biggest influences. So this is also like a really extremely fun tour that we're on. And she's obviously just so freaking talented, but it's really great when someone that you look up to is also really cool. And she
Yeah.
is the nicest person. Her whole band is so sweet, so welcoming. The first day we walked in and she's like, "We don't have personal space, so if you want anything from our green room or you need to borrow our guitar or anything." I mean, she was just so cool. Not that we would, you know, freak out and hang out in their green room all the time, but I mean the fact that she just made it like so like open from day one. She's just really, really cool. And I always say that, you know, attitudes come from the top. And so like if she's the one in charge and she's treating people like that, it leaves no, room for error for her band to also be cool. And her dad is in her band. And her dad,
What?
I met him like way back in like 2000 in Austin. They came over and did some shows and I met him then. So that's been cool. Seeing them again. And she's got her brother out with them running sound. And Harley and I have gone over to his house. His name is Nash. He has a studio in Nashville, and we've done some work with him as well. So it's just been a really, really fun show, fun run of shows, and those are going to be our last two with them. Hopefully not forever, but for this run.
That's got to be pretty amazing. You always hear the term never meet your heroes. So, because you're afraid that, they could be a giant jerk, right? But it sounds like the
Yeah.
opposite for you, right?
I've lucked out in that department because a lot of people have said that where, you know, Merle Haggard, for example, I'm a huge fan of Merle Haggard and have been my whole life. And I knew one of his guitar, actually two of his guitar players, and I was speaking to one of them once, and I was about to go meet Merle or try to meet Merle at a gig the following weekend, and they were like, "Ooh, be careful, because I know how much you like him, and like they say don't meet your heroes." And I did meet him multiple times, and he was everything I wanted him to be. He he was like inquisitive and asked questions and you know he was just so nice, and so I've really felt fortunate in that department, meeting him, meeting Lucinda Williams, now meeting and getting to hang out with Casey, um, and Jesse Coulter, Jeannie Seeley. There's so many Opry stars that I look up to, and all the Opry stars are just top notch, incredible, welcoming. It's great. So I hope there's not anyone that's just going to be a jerk someday and then be like, wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. Well, part of me is like, when people say that, I'm like, I still want to meet them. Like, I rather know if they're a jerk or not, but like, that's not going to change like what I loved about them. It might change a little bit, but like if somebody had a great, let's say body of music, the music doesn't automatically suck because a person's a jerk, right? It's just
Exactly.
people are people, they're humans, right? And maybe you met them on a bad day. But I imagine, going on tour for your this new album, and you've been going out professionally since 2006, but probably before that trying to get your start. What is the biggest change in like the recording process from your first album or even up to the first album till now? Just seems like technology is really taken off.
Yeah, it has. And also, I mean, the saying is a lot of my writer friends, we talk a lot, about this exact thing, but you have your entire life to write your first album. And then everything else kind of comes after that. So if I went through the whole record label stage, put out some records with some record labels in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And there is a forcedness that goes along with it instead of just being able to kind of do it at your own pace. And
Hmm.
so obviously the technology has changed a lot um,
Yeah,
since the
right.
first, I mean, even in 20 years, like 20 years is a long ass time, And so um, basically, it's, I've done both. I've done, analog and I've done digital. And I like both of them for separate reasons. We did this one, with Tommy Dedamore, on Logic or Pro Tools or whatever it is he
Hmm.
uses, and it was it was also amazing, and like you can go and add things and subtract things and try things, and if it sucks, then you can change it out, and it's what works for us, and the players I think is where it really starts. The players like that I have that played on this record, they knew what they were doing, uh influence wise, which is really the most important thing, and they knew that, as the saying goes, they understood the assignment.
Ah, yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
I was just recently at a recording studio. I'm in Chicago, and they have. We were talking about the old Neve boards. I don't know if you're familiar with the Neve
Oh
board.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
there's like
yeah.
one out, and there's a documentary about the Neve board called Sound City. I don't know if you've seen that
Oh,
doc.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've
Okay,
seen it.
right? So you hear that and you see the bands like Fleetwood Mac and the Foo Fighters and Nirvana, all these bands that have recorded on it. And I was talking to these guys at this recording studio, and they're like, "Do you know what the coolest thing they like nerded out, which I loved?" They're like, "This." They like hold up this module, and they're like, "This is from the Neve people. You plug this into our stuff." And you can use it. You can make a digital board sound analog by using
Yep.
these plug. I was like, "Get the hell out of here! That's insane!"
Hmm.
Like we're going
Yeah.
backwards through digital. It's bizarre, but it makes sense because so many bands were like, wait a minute, they're you ever hear the term that there's not there? Like
Uh-uh.
the essence, like um the soul, like when people would record in the early days of digital recording, they're like,
I got it.
where's the soul? Like there's just that warmth of a song
Warmth,
that
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. No, and
and
I think
that's
it's cool. I think that's cool. I've actually had some people have also talked to, I've had conversations about that. And I think that times have changed. Also it's sort of like the first robot that they ever made. Now it's like the as it goes on, the robots get better. In 20 years, robots will be even better than that. So like as things go, they get it's like any app on your phone. That's why they have updates,
right.
and they make them better. They make each program better and give you more realistic options. And I just think it's cool. We love making music. I mean, we love it. Like I wouldn't have done it this long if I didn't enjoy it. And there's definitely hard days, hard nights. Oh my gosh, there's really some hard days and hard nights and tired, and we kind of are perpetually tired, all of us, but we've learned how to function in that kind of realm of being just exhausted all the time, but also, oh my God, we get to make music for a living. Are you kidding? Like, really,
Yeah.
honestly, it doesn't get any better than that.
I imagine, it probably you're as tired as like a newborn parent, right? Trying to take care of a kid all
You're
day
gonna say
long.
a newborn baby.
Or, yeah, that's what I meant. Newborn parent. Sorry, I told you I went for a run. I'm a little
So
exhausted.
I knew what you meant, but like, yes, also a newborn parent. That's funny.
Yeah, that's the name of my new band
But
I'm putting
yeah,
out, actually.
that's great. It sounds like a alt like punk band.
Yeah,
But honestly, yeah, I can equate it to that. I mean, I don't have kids, but I would presume that just like the honest perpetual tiredness is there.
yeah,
And, you know, a lot of people think that they want to be on the road and it sounds glamorous and crazy and fun and all this, but it's a lot of work. I mean, it is a lot of work. And I wouldn't trade it for anything that I've ever, thought about doing aside from this. Cause now it's like we were just having this conversation a while ago. It's like, what on earth would we do besides this? You know? You don't
What's your
just change careers. It's not a job, it's a career, you
Yeah, I
know?
don't think you're gonna be selling insurance and be okay, right? No offense to people who are selling insurance, but I can't imagine you sitting in,
No,
like, in a little State Farm office going, "Oh, would you like to make that a, bundle policy, sir?" Like, it's just some people
whoever would hire me to do that would get very bad policies because I don't understand any of that. But yes, I 100% agree with you.
Well, you talk about being tired and being on the road, but also worth it all. Is there a spot in a show where it's your favorite? Like it could be like the smallest, littlest thing where all of a sudden your body is there, your mind is there, and it's on, or does it take a minute, because is it like an athlete? Sometimes you got to warm up and then, like let's say a pitcher in baseball, they might not have a good first and second inning, but the third inning, they throw lights out for some ungodly reason. Do you have that when
Yeah.
you perform on a night to night basis?
Honestly, there's some nights where like you just said, some nights start off, you know, where you're in the green room, you haven't even walked on stage, and you're like, "Oh man, I feel great. I'm not tired. Like my hair looks good." Like all the like components of however girl math works. But like in my brain where I'm like, oh, my outfit looks cute, and
It sounds like a
everybody's
Lizzo
like
song.
everybody's in a great mood, and
Yeah.
the food was good and all the things. And then you go on stage, and then it could be like, I don't know, maybe the audience doesn't have the energy that you were hoping that matched your energy, or it could be opposite, where like kind of everyone's dragging a little bit, everybody's drinking throat coat, their throats are sore, everything. Then you go on stage, and it's just every night is different. And that night you could walk on stage and the audience is just like, freak out. So honestly, it's just different every night. And that's the beautiful part about it, is that you're always in a different city. Now, I will say all parking lots look the same. So we never really go to the front of the venue. We recognize back parking lots a lot better than we recognize front artwork of venues. But yeah, it's weird. Every night's different. People are different. We get to meet different people every night. I get to talk to people like you, every day. You know what I mean? Like it's just,
Yeah, sure.
um, it's very.
That's why you
I
do
guess
it.
the word is exhilarating
Mhm.
because it's also not boring. And my mom always has said like only boring people get bored. So, you know,
I like that. I might
would
use that.
presume yeah, I would presume that I'm not really bored ever, because at least I'm getting to look at different stuff every day. And I think I truly believe that God knew what he was doing, putting this career path in my way, because because I feel like I do get bored, so this prevents me from getting bored.
Right on.
Being able to see different stuff every night and smell different smells, eat different, food, travel all over the world. We were in England last year, and it was just Harley and I doing an acoustic run, and we were sitting in some town in freaking England. And I was just like, I had one of those moments where I was like, "Oh my God, like we are in another country,
Country. Yeah.
because on another continent, because we chose to pick up guitars." Like that is bizarre if you really boil it down to that.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it was pretty
That's
cool. But then we're also like, we've also had 3 hours of sleep, but then like, let's go get some English espresso and wake up.
It sounds wonderful. Like it really does, and it sounds like a song what you just described. So maybe we'll hear that one day
Oh,
in a full prose of a song. But either way, you're going to be here in Chicago for people to hear the fruits of your labor with your new album and your previous album, your whole catalog, all the things that you do. You're here for 2 nights, which is great because I feel like when artists come to Chicago that haven't ever been here before or only here sporadically, one night that's not even a full night. It's only like a half of a night because you get in, you sleep, you wake up, do the show, and you go kind of a thing. The fact that you're here July 9th and 10th at City Winery, you're probably arguably in the best neighborhood to eat in Chicago for like elevated. If you want some bougie food, there is that in there. If you don't want so bougie food, if you want like a good hot dog or a beef sandwich, also perfect neighborhood for all of that.
Okay,
Barbecue.
let's talk about this real quick
Sure.
because we have a pizza place that we love. I think there's two of them in Chicago. It's Pequod's. Have you ever
Oh
heard
yeah.
of it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is the best pizza that I've ever had. So I'm hoping, I don't know where we're staying the first night, but I'm hoping that we can squeeze in a Pequod somewhere. We also love Luminati's. We love pizza. Um, and the hot dogs, the Chicago hot dogs are like Jesus himself made them. I mean, they are so
Oh.
good with the little pickles on them.
Well, I'm going to give you a little something, something right here. If you're anywhere downtown or north, staying wise, you can totally hop in a Uber or cab and get to Pequod's, no problem, because that's in
Okay,
Lincoln Park.
cool.
That's not far at all. And there's
Awesome.
a Lou Malnati's, I think down the street from City Winery on Randolph. So Randolph, I don't know if you know, but Randolph Street is called Restaurant Row. It is every restaurant that you can think of. That is, I mean, there's some real, I mean, Michelin starred restaurants down to
Perfect.
like, a donut joint, but if you want some good, and then if you ever have time, I'm going to give you a pizza place. It's called Vito and Nick's. It is not like Pequod's. It's thin crust. It's tavern style pizza, which was kind of invented here.
Love it.
But it's like thin crust, and it is outstanding. And it's in a neighborhood of Chicago, so no downtown, no buildings, but it's in a neighborhood, and it's also down by a place called Rainbow Cone, which
I've heard of
also,
that.
yeah, Rainbow Cone's legit. That's at all the festivals when you do anything in Chicago. Rainbow Cone is there. So I would give you that. And if you have time, if you want it off, a really old school hot dog, there's a place called Luke's down in the downtown, and it's in the Hot Dog Hall of Fame. They're fantastic. It's this cool
Too
place.
much.
It's like 1985 in there. Everything is in there is from like the 80s, like 85 Bears when they won the Super Bowl, and then it's just super old school Chicago. I can go on, but I'll give you those because those are great. And you got to check out Mr. Beef if you've never been to Mr. Beef,
I've
because
been there.
okay, you've
I
been there.
trust me, we are food fanatics. But Vito and Nick's I've never heard of, and I will definitely write that down to try for pizza.
Vito and Nick's, get it a little well done. It's so good. It's
Oh yeah.
fantastic.
No, that's the only way to get it well done. You kidding?
And if you want, I'll give you one more. If you want an old school steakhouse experience, like old school from the 1940s Chicago, Gene and Georgetti Steakhouse opened the same year World War II started. So it's been around for a long time.
Wow.
And
Okay.
if you go, make sure you sit in like the front part, or even go to the bar and sit there. I mean, Sinatra used to go there, Lucille Ball used to go there, all these
Oh
people from the
wow.
golden age. But Gino and Giorgetti, get the steak, because if you go there and don't get the steak, that's just dumb. You got to get the steak at the steakhouse. Don't get the
It's
fish.
just
Get the
dumb.
steak. It's just dumb. Just get a good steak, get a bottle of wine, and it's not far from City Winery as well. So all of these things, just
Perfect.
make sure you write it down. I'm sorry, I can go on and on.
I'm
I won't.
literally I'm going to do it as soon as I get off the phone with you. Like I really am.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to talk with me while you're you're out in the parking lot having a little me time. For people who want the tickets, they go to your website. They go to City Winery website. Where should they go?
SunnySweeney.com. And that's got all my social media on there. It's got pre-order for my new record. If you want to grab a copy of that and support independent country music, you can get all the tour dates, everything. Everything's on the website.